Good morning. So it is the season, isn't it? It's Christmas time. So I thought that I would share two Christmas reflections with you. The first goes back to 1976. We had just we'd been in Zambia. We arrived in Zambia to teach at a mission school in September, and Christmas time came, and friends of ours, another fellow teacher, was a Mennonite, and he invited us to go to Swaziland, where the Mennonites were having their annual retreat to share Christmas with their family. And Swaziland's a little country surrounded by South Africa, and so we decided to do that. So at the Christmas break, because remember Apartheid was on, so we couldn't fly from Zambia to South Africa. So we flew to Botswana, took the train to South Africa, and when we hit the border, we were traveling third or fourth class, I guess. Anyway, we had to get in the first or second class because, again, we were white, and it was apartheid. Anyway, the first station was maybe some Mafeking. It was some 60 kilometers, I think, inside South Africa. We got there about 6 in the morning, and the next train to Joburg wasn't until 6 that night. So we decided to hitchhike, and we got picked up by all different, people, blacks, coloreds, whites. All the rides were good. No, and there's a few stories around that, but 2 or 3 days later, we're within range of Swaziland, all right? And so, but we got stranded on a back road somewhere, and finally we got picked up by a pickup truck, and I climbed in the back, Crystal was in the front, and later, independently, we were both thinking that what it was like to be in a foreign land on Christmas Eve. Anyway, so the driver took us to the next little village, and there was the only hotel in the village. He dropped us off, and then he took off, and we very confidently went into the inn and asked for a room, and we're told no room at the inn. So what do? We go back out. It's dark by this time. We stand under a street light, put our thumbs out, and eventually another ride came by, and we told him our story. So at the next little village, he stopped and waited at the inn, and to make sure that we did get a room, which we did. And then, so that was the end of that. But the name of the town was Bethel. Anyway, so an interesting Christmas story. Second reflection comes much later, in 1989. Chris and I had separated in September. Remember, we had separated for 9 months almost before we got back together. And here we are 32 years later, but this is back then. Anyway, I was devastated, and I confided to a friend of mine, a Jesuit priest, and his encouragement to me was, he said, look, during Advent, which was, right now, he said, why don't you reflect on, in your meditation and prayer, pay attention to Joseph, of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, because he says, things were not going the way Joseph had planned. His wife's pregnant. They have to go from Nazareth to Bethlehem in the middle of winter. They get there, no room at the inn. And then later they had to go for, spend 2 years or something in Egypt. So things were not going the way Joseph planned. So for me, it was helpful to put what I was going through in perspective. So my wish for you for this Christmas is that you all have a great Christmas and a blessed new year. Make 2022 a great year. And I'll see you probably not till next year. But anyway, thanks for sharing, for watching, and for your encouragement. All right? Have a great year. Bye. And a great Christmas.